Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Marcus White.
And my name is Fight Mode Nick Cavalli.
And I just have one question for you. Are you ready?
Are you ready for a good time?
Yes, this is the Wrevolution Pro Wrestling Podcast. You're watching our Friday night Smackdown review. And, hey, once again, Smackdown. Good stuff. Another good episode of Smackdown. 2 weeks in a row. Congratulations.
Not sure if it was a tasteful episode of Smackdown, but it was good.
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about and break down with this episode. A lot of controversy surrounding the opening angle from SmackDown last night. So let's just go ahead and jump right into that. Cold open for this episode of SmackDown as we open with a shot of Renee Young talking about something that just happened, an accident. Elias has been injured in what it looks like a car accident or of some sort, like a hit and run, something. We get an interview from Braun Strowman saying that he watched it all happen as he was pulling up, and then the guy jumped out the car, sprints away, so he hopes that SOB gets caught. And then you see police arrive on the scene. They're investigating the vehicle. They find an empty alcohol bottle. They find papers that are showing that the rental vehicle belongs to Jeff Hardy. So they go looking for Jeff Hardy. And they find Jeff. He is unconscious in some bushes. They help him up. He smells like alcohol. So the police officers arrest him and they take him downtown to be processed. So Jeff Hardy has been arrested in a potential drunk driving incident.
This is the tastiest of tasty storylines. The real-life person who struggles with drug and alcohol abuse is in a drunk driving angle.
Yeah, so this is obviously controversial for a lot of reasons with everything that's happening around the country right now with things regarding the police and everything, and also people that know Jeff Hardy's struggles, his constant issues with alcohol and other intoxicants. So this is definitely, there's a little bit of like, oh, that's tasty. Like, it's not, it's definitely not in good taste. I'll just put that out there now. This angle is, while it's hardcore for sure, and it's definitely something that's going to get people up and talking about it, and it's different. It's something that you don't see. It blurs the lines of reality and fiction, and that's good. That's what you want in your pro wrestling angle. It's pro wrestling. I don't have an issue necessarily with the angle. I don't. But it's definitely not in good taste. Like, there have been good angles, good wrestling angles that have been done, but have been in extremely poor taste. We can agree, both things can be true. You can have a good wrestling storyline, and it be in a horrible taste. This is just one of those things.
Of Dominic ladder match, for instance. Or, I don't know, everything with Kane and Lita.
Exactly. Yeah, like, so, I definitely agree this is in poor taste, but at the same time, I don't necessarily have an issue with it. I think, again, it blurs the line of reality and fiction. It's something you don't see. So I was looking forward to this. I thought, all right, that's cool. My only issue with this storyline is the fact that if you're gonna do a drunk driving angle and is gonna have an accident and Elias has to go to the hospital because he's injured, can you at least make the car look like it's been damaged in any way? Like, they put the hood up and they, like, bend a stop sign and they're like, well, that's a car accident. What?
And my question, and I mentioned this before the show, where was Elias walking?
Yeah.
Like, was he just casually walking in the street? Because Jeff didn't hit the sidewalk. Well, whoever was driving that car, because there's conspiracy that it's not Jeff Hardy, and that's part of the storyline, which would be rather interesting. It's probably Rikishi, actually.
I did it
about it
for The Rock.
For The Rock.
Yes, the crime scene doesn't make a lick of sense whatsoever. But I mean, whatever. It's a fake hit and run angle. It is what it is. But that was how we started Monday night. Right? That is how we started Friday Night SmackDown. By the way, Jason Jordan is apparently still in the company, as we saw him. So shout out to Jason Jordan. Glad you still got a job.
Yeah, man. JJ and Shorty G. If you could ever come back from that terrible, terrible injury.
Yes. So next we see the locker.
Speaking of Shorty G.
Yeah, well, we see the locker room is being briefed. By the way, Drew Gulak is apparently still on the SmackDown roster. I thought he got released. So
you and me both.
Yeah, we see the locker room is being briefed. They're all told about the incident that happened earlier. Elias in the hospital. Jeff Hardy's been arrested. Sheamus is just being a total asshole. He's like, again? Oh, no surprise. Jeff Hardy's arrested. Ha ha ha. He's on drugs. Like, my God, man. He even
those of you... Go on.
I was going to say, he even insinuates that he lost his match last week because Jeff was clearly on something if he could take the beating he was getting. My God, man.
I mean, if you've seen Jeff in TNA, it makes sense.
Oh, goodness. So Daniel Bryan suggests that they should do something with the tournament. They should have a match. Him and AJ should have a match with some people to decide who's going to go on to the finals. Meanwhile, AJ Styles just wants a free ride. He's like, look, clearly it's going to be me and Daniel Bryan in the finals, right? I mean, that makes the most sense. He calls Daniel Bryan an idiot multiple times. Stupid idiot! And we start to see the rest of the locker room. They want in. They want their shot. Corbin, he wants to go. He's like, well, if Sheamus is getting a free ride, because Sheamus is out here saying, clearly I deserve a shot since Jeff Hardy was obviously on something. Corbin wants in. Jey Uso wants his shot. Dolph Ziggler says, well, I'm a 6-time IC champion, so that means I get a shot because of reasons. And everyone's chirping, and we get a shot. So finally, good old what's-his-name says, you all get a shot if you can win this battle royal. And then whoever wins that will face Daniel Bryan, and then whoever wins that goes on to the finals against AJ Styles. So we get a battle royal.
Because AJ said, I don't want to fight. He's like, well, you're in the finals now. Congrats.
Yep. Pretty effing much. I did appreciate this. Again, like it's kind of realistic. An incident like that, if that happened before the show, you would see the locker room get briefed. You'd have to understand how things are going to go, regarding matches and with the tournament and this format of the show. So again, I liked the way SmackDown started off. I thought this was an entertaining angle. I loved the chemistry between people like AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, Sheamus talking. Like, I just thought it was entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, that's the name of the game, isn't it? Sports entertainment. But yeah, no, that is true. If there was a situation like this that happened just before the show, this is the type of response that would be had.
So we get the Battle Royal. Throughout this, we see Cesaro and Sheamus working together, kind of a callback to Debar. So we do see Shorty G. I'm just gonna call him Gable because I hate that name. We see
Shorty G.
We see Gable having a fantastic showing throughout this matchup. He does end up getting costed at the end. Cesaro eliminates him while the referees are dealing with Corbin, even though Cesaro had already been eliminated. So it's not a legal elimination. However, the refs don't see it, so they think he's been eliminated correctly.
Wait, hold on. When did that rule change? Because you see that all the time in Battle Royals and Royal Rumbles where someone comes back and eliminates someone. That happened. Dolph Ziggler eliminated Dean Ambrose 4 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever.
We've seen it more recently. We've seen Royal Rumbles and Battle Royales. They've done that before, so that is a rule. It's just more of a recent thing, and I mean it makes sense. I think if you've been eliminated, you shouldn't be able to eliminate somebody else. So it makes sense to me. But yeah, so Shorty G, Mr. Chad Gable, has been eliminated. The last two members of the match standing, Sheamus and Jey Uso. They have a little back and forth, and then eventually Sheamus connects with a bro kick, sending Jey flying off the apron for the win. So Sheamus will go on to face Daniel Bryan to see who will earn a spot in the finals against AJ Styles.
I'm excited. I think this is going to be a fantastic matchup. But most importantly, it kind of gives into what a lot of people had said. A lot of people had said conspiratorially, that's not a word, but you know what I mean, that Sheamus was one of the people involved in the accident with Jeff Hardy and Elias. Me personally, I think it was AJ Styles, to be honest with you. But, we'll talk about that later.
Yes. So we move on now. We get a promo from Sonya Deville. She's talking about how she has a match against Lacey Evans and that, Lacey, you think you're a big bad woman? Well, just put your hair up and square up. Meanwhile, Lacey Evans is standing behind her the whole time. So when she hears this, she shoves Sonya in the back. So we get Lacey Evans versus Sonya Deville. Before we get to that, though, we cut backstage. We see Gable and Cesaro arguing. Gable obviously upset that Cesaro costed him his opportunity. Cesaro challenges him to a match. Gable punches Cesaro and says he accepts. So now we move on to Lacey Evans versus Sonya Deville. Apparently this match came about because they had an argument on Twitter.
Yes.
People have made fun of the Twitter matches, but it's kind of it's the era we're living in. That's modern pro wrestling. I mean, social media has become so involved with everything people do nowadays. It's 24/7. People are constantly on their cell phones, on their computers, on Twitter, on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. The list goes on and on. So it would make sense that if you are in a work environment like professional wrestling and you have a disagreement with a coworker, another wrestler, member of the locker room, you're going to go handle your business in the ring. I mean, hell, angles like that are made all the time. You bump into someone backstage. I don't like you. I don't like you. Let's have a match. Ding, ding. So, yeah, exactly. I mean, same thing.
I mean, and that's the thing. It's the power of social media. It's just as simple as releasing a YouTube video and saying, so-and-so got into an argument with so-and-so backstage, and because of that, we're going to do a match next week. You just Twitter. That's all it takes. Exactly. It's not that difficult.
So I really liked this match between Lacey and Sonya. It was very competitive. For those of you that don't know, Lacey has an amateur wrestling background. She was a state champion, I believe they said. So,
yes.
So
Sonya Deville with the background in mixed martial arts, as well Lacey Evans with military training, Marine training.
Yes. So both women extremely capable in the ring. I knew this was going to be a really good fight. And this is we've talked about this over the last couple of weeks. WWE has not been afraid to shy away from the more in-ring technical stuff of late. I mean, we saw what happened with Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher. Stuff like this. It's been very, in-ring based. And this is just another example of that.
Yeah, and Sonya Deville came out and said it. Next time, we fight on my terms, which hopefully leads to a pit fight match.
I'm game. Let's do it, man. So, yes, this match, again, extremely competitive. We saw at one point, Lacey goes, I'm going to give you an opportunity. Let's go. So, she gets down in a typical wrestling stance. And, if you've ever seen amateur wrestling fights, how get down on all fours, the other opponent chooses a position. Sonya chose to go behind Lacey, and then they started. Lacey had to try to fight her way up, get up, and she actually ends up taking down Sonya, and she even mocked Sonya by putting her hair up after Sonya did it. So this was, I really enjoyed this a lot. Match ends up getting thrown out after both women are counted out. They have a brawl on the outside of the ring. And then, yes, as you alluded to, that's when Sonya gets on the headset and says, my terms. We're going to do this on my terms. So this is actually a feud that I'm looking forward to.
Fight, pit, fight, pit, fight, pit. Fight, pit.
If it gets Sonya out of the angle with Mandy Rose, I'm game. I'm
Yes,
looking
please.
forward to this.
Yeah, this is going to be really good. And like you said, both of these women have just substantial training in backgrounds of real fighting. So this is going to be a rivalry that is very fun to watch. It's going to be reminiscent of Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher, that level of physicality. Neither one of them quite the striker that Riddle or Thatcher are, but both of them technically sound in the ring.
Yes. So next we get a Forgotten Sons promo, and this proves that they're watching. WWE is watching. We may only be getting one view, but it's WWE, damn it.
It's Vince. It's Vince himself.
Yes, because they finally admit it. Wesley Blake admits he's not a member of the military.
Yep.
We've been saying this for how long?
It was two members of the military thrown together with one of the guys who didn't make it from the Alexa Bliss stable in NXT, because that's all they were.
So in this promo, they talk about their backgrounds, the military, and Blake goes on to say, "Well, I didn't serve like my brothers. I saw the light. I used to be like one of you, but then now I'm a member of this awesome stable, and our blood's on your hands." Yeah, this is bad. This is bad. I've been defending the Forgotten Sons.
He needs to go now.
Yeah, I've been defending the Forgotten Sons for a little bit now, but no, this is bad. This is bad.
Hear me out. Wesley Blake needs to be one of the people traded to Monday Night Raw and join the Disciples.
I'm game. I'm about it.
Blake and Murphy back together. Let's effing go.
I'm game. We get Moment of Bliss with the New Day. And this should have been a lot more entertaining than it was. I mean, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross are very entertaining. The New Day always seem to get a laugh out of me, so this should have been better than what it was. But the jokes just weren't landing for me. I don't know if it was the same for you.
No, it wasn't particularly funny. I mean, it wasn't awful. I've heard worse.
Like, we saw Nikki Cross made...
pancakes!
Yeah, Scottish pancakes, and then Big E makes Nikki Cross coffee with coffee beans from Le Boutte. So, yeah, haha. Get it? It's just coffee beans and water, and Lexa doesn't want to drink it, because who would drink that shit? So,
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Then we do have Bayley and Sasha Banks. They come out after the New Day asked Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, well, we know who you're dealing with on Monday Night Raw and the Iconics, but who on SmackDown would be considered a threat for their belts? Out come Sasha Banks and Bayley, and they actually insinuate that they're the best tag team on Friday Night SmackDown. And then Alexa looks around the ring. She goes, I count 5 champions in this ring. Sasha, where's your championship? Bayley then goes on to say, alright, shut up, Charlotte Jr. Listen, we all know that the only reason this tag team division even exists is because of me and Sasha. We put those belts on the map, to which I immediately thought, what map? Did I miss something?
What map? And realistically, as much as I love the two of you as a tag team, you're single stars. Those were made for the Iconics. Go ahead.
I mean, they were the first women's tag team champions, so we can't undo history. They did technically make the women's tag team division. We can't undo that. So, I mean, I get it, but what map? No, does anybody care about the women's tag team division?
Me.
Yep, that's the one person.
Me and me alone.
Yep. So this leads to Bayley saying we can take those titles anytime we want, and we're gonna do that later. But right now, we're going to prove why we're a better tag team. Because Sasha is going to have a one-on-one match with Alexa Bliss. Sasha's like, what? I'm not dressed. I'm in high heels. Bailey's like, I'll go to the truck and get your stuff. I got you. So it's now Sasha versus Alexa Bliss.
I'd also like to point out that apparently Bailey is a member of the Authority now.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, as proven from the segment earlier, anyone can make a match. I mean, this is the problem with having literally no authority figures on any show, is that who's making the matches?
Whoever. I mean, it's not... Look, I am not in favor of what you did with the Authority. But, like, just have a GM. Teddy Long wasn't that bad. Bischoff was fine.
It's not even...
It could be just an on-screen role.
Well, no, it's not even...
It could be anybody.
And let's hold up. It's not that the Authority was bad. It's that it just went on forever. And it's more the fact of after it all ended, I mean, you still had people like Stephanie McMahon and Shane O'Mac on Raw and SmackDown emasculating wrestlers on a weekly basis, still being involved in major storylines. That's my issue, is that once you got over the major storyline with the Authority and Roman Reigns, that was cool, like, that's fine. Having a major Authority angle every so often, I don't have an issue with. But it was the fact that every week there was something involving the Authority figure.
Yeah, and this is the thing. At first, when they did it, I didn't mind Shane. Shane was doing fine, actually.
Yeah. Shane and D-Bry were a great team together when they were the GM duo.
Right. And when they were both faces. And when they were, okay, restart the match. This match ended via shenanigans. This is my call. All that stuff. That's cool. That's awesome. I'm all for that. In fact, I'm all for that in any brand. But it's the Stephanie McMahons of the world that make you go, we probably shouldn't have this. Mick Foley was fine, except he couldn't remember where he was. He was fine. And Kurt Angle was great. But Steph, let's talk. You don't have to be a heel to lead the brand.
Well, I agreed with your first point. No offense to Mick Foley and Kurt Angle. Both you guys are Hall of Famers, legends in the business. Not great general managers. At least not the second time around, either way. And I like Stephanie, but God, can you just... You don't always have to be the evil bitch. You just don't. You don't always have to emasculate. Like, if you're dealing with, like, 200-300 pound, like 6'5" behemoths, and you're always talking down to them like they're little kids. Like, that's just not okay. And then when Shane O'Mac turned heel and he's the daddy's boy, rich kid, like, I don't want to see that. That was fine when Shane McMahon was like, when he was like in his 30s and like, you still had Vinnie Mac on screen doing the things with Steve Austin back in the heydays of WWE.
Yep.
This ain't the 90s, guys.
Nope.
Steve Austin's retired, and Vince McMahon is in his 70s.
Don't get me wrong. Shane O'Mac can still go in the ring. More than happy with that. But don't involve him in every storyline. Once a year is fine. WrestleMania.
Yeah, when
SummerSlam,
when it started to be like Shane McMahon has to have a pay-per-view match like every pay-per-view, he's got to be at WrestleMania, right? Like, it was like, okay, come on. It was getting ridiculous.
He's put on some really good matches. His match with The Undertaker was legendary, for the spots. And his match with AJ Styles is one of the best matches at WrestleMania. So I'm not going to complain, but maybe not every storyline, because that whole storyline with The Miz went on way too long.
So let's run it back now to the match here. So this was a good match between Alexa Bliss and Sasha. I enjoyed it. We had Nikki Cross and Bayley on commentary the entire time. Didn't enjoy that as much. But the in-ring work was good. The way this match wraps up is that Bayley gets up on the ropes. She's trying to interfere in the match. Nikki Cross gets up to defend her best friend, and Bayley actually sends Nikki flying into Alexa Bliss. This allows Sasha Banks to hit the double knees in the corner and roll up Alexa for the pinfall victory. Thoughts on the match?
How dare you? No, this was, I mean, aside from it again having an interference ending, again, a Bayley or Sasha match, it's starting to become the undisputed era of SmackDown.
Hey, she beat Charlotte clean last week.
Yes, she did. Didn't she use the ropes?
Yeah, but that's not an interference. That's
not clean.
She out in the ring. She beat her. Anything that doesn't involve an interference, that's clean to me. Damn it! If you're not cheating, you're not trying. Viva la Raza.
Fair enough. Yeah. So it was a good match. I'm not going to complain about it. And the ending, I mean, honestly, this is a match that booking-wise, you probably could have gone either way. I guess it makes sense to do it this way to set up for a feud with Bayley and Sasha versus Alexa and Nikki Cross, where hopefully Alexa and Nikki go over and Bayley and Sasha explode finally. Please, please, God, do not put the tag titles on them.
Well, there are reports coming out that Vince McMahon is soured on the Sasha Banks and Bayley angle. So,
but I'm tired of reports that Vince McMahon is soured on something. Because half the time he sours on it, he hears us complain that we don't want him soured on it. And he goes, "We're gonna do it anyways." So I don't even care. I don't care what he's soured on.
And I mean, I guess the reason that I don't have an issue with it is because when I've hit such levels of not giving a shit involving the women's tag division that putting the belts on Bayley and Sasha, sure, why not? I don't care.
Personally, I'm starting to see the light when it comes to the women's tag division. I'm starting to see the point of getting rid of the belts.
Oh, okay.
But I would replace them with something else. Equally as goofy, but more doable. Every year you do the Mixed Match Challenge, the Mixed Tag Team titles. Why not?
I like that idea. I enjoyed the Mixed Match Challenge. It was something new and refreshing, and it gave the mid-carders a chance to do something since they weren't being used in main card storylines.
Right, you do a Mixed Match Challenge this year, and the winner of the Mixed Match Challenge becomes the inaugural champions, and you run it like a division. I mean, I would have loved to have seen Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman running through competition with tag title belts. And don't get me wrong, I still value the idea of a women's tag division. It's just right now, in the place we are in, there's 3 tag teams in the women's division, because you blew up the 4th. 3 tag teams in the women's division. One of them is supposed to be blowing up, or Vince has soured on it, whatever the F that means. So basically there's 2. That's not enough.
Yep.
So while I love the idea, and in the future I still will value the idea of having a women's tag division, right now, kill it with fire.
We move on now to Cesaro versus Gable. And good match.
Yes, it was a good match. Someone, please, for the love of God, kill the Shorty G gimmick. Please.
Yes.
I am begging you. Whatever it's, put the man on stilts if you have to. Kill the gimmick.
Like, when this whole Shorty G started, last year, I thought this... Huh?
It was goofy. It was funny. It was great.
No, it wasn't. I was sitting here hoping that it would be dead within a couple months. It's been a year.
That's why I thought it was goofy, funny, and great. Because I was like, wow, this is funny. This is only going to last a couple months. It's been like a year. We still have Shorty G. So
year.
what we're going to have now is American Alpha's going to come back, and it's going to be Shorty G and Tully J.
Why? Why is he still Shorty G? Like, hopefully, fingers crossed, when we do another King of the Ring, when we get a new king, it dies. Like, because I get... Go ahead.
King Abel.
Yeah. Like...
Or they'll do something really cringy and it'll be like King Shorty.
I don't want it anymore. Who is laughing at him being called Shorty G? I'm sure Vince McMahon gets a big old belly laugh every time the announcer calls out, and on his way to the ring, Shorty G! Look at that midget!
Yeah, I mean, look, the only laugh I'm getting now is at how horrible it is.
Yes.
And how absolutely awful this angle is. Kill it with fire!
You have an Olympic caliber athlete, one of the best wrestlers in your company. People were making comparisons to Kurt flipping Angle, and You've killed everything about him. You killed his tag team, removed the shoulder straps, called him Shorty flippin' G, and now every time he has a storyline with somebody, it's because they call him short. So much so that in promos, you have to have stuff like big and short and tall and can't muster up to the challenge. Ha ha, get it, cause he's short. He's not even that short.
Nope. It is what it is, man. I'm beyond it. I'm beyond it. It's just, I mean, Shorty wins. Cool.
Yes,
Congrats.
Gable, I'm calling him Gable, picks up the victory. Next, we get an Otis and Mandy Rose date. And this was a thing. So Mandy and Otis are sitting by the poolside, and Otis is like, he's infatuated with Mandy Rose, and he's like, "Do you want to take a dip in the water, my dear?" And Mandy's like, "No, actually, I'm kind of tired. I'm going to take a nap." Understandable. So Mandy falls asleep, and we get a little deep dive into the psyche of one Mandy. As we get to see her dreams, and what a dream it was! It was a dream of the moist variety, if you will.
Otis is gonna be doing some dozing. That's what I've been hearing. Stakes, weights, and making mistakes. If you want to put it that way. This man's got some dozing to be doing. Oh, yeah!
Yeah, so in this dream, it's the stereotypical, sees hot guy in dream scenario, except it's Otis. Now, I think this is really sweet. This is truly the beauties in the eye of the beholder. Mandy loves Otis, and to her, he's the most attractive man on the planet right now. He's doing the slow motion jump out of the water, hair glistening, everything. In the dream, they start making out, and Mandy apparently has an orgasm with the lotion bottle. So it goes there. They go there, and all to find out that, yes, this was a dream, because the dream is interrupted when Otis screams "Cannonball," jumps into the pool, and splashes water all over Mandy Rose.
The best part about all of this is, and look, I get that, yes, she falls in love with Otis because of his personality, because of the person that he is, but finding the beauty in somebody that you fall in love with, somebody that you feel so deeply about, finding the inner, the outer beauty in them, that's something that's really, really beautiful, and that is awesome. And yes, Otis ruins it by what he does, but that's his personality, and that's the thing that she fell in love with in the first
and
place.
The best
I
part,
think that's the sweetest thing.
Best part about it is that even though the dream gets ruined, she tells Otis, "Oh, it's okay, I was just having an amazing dream," and then they end up making out anyway. So...
Oh, yeah!
So I think the entire thing is sweet, because that in itself shows that I mean, yeah, would she have liked to have not got splashed with water and continue her dream? Yeah, but she gets to live her dream IRL. She makes out with Otis, and she loves him for his goofy personality. So I think that's fantastic. Seriously, huge props to WWE for continuing this storyline and doing it justice. Seriously, props to you guys.
Working man Otis doing some dozing. Let's go.
There's like a Jekyll and Hyde situation going on with the creative team on SmackDown, because we go like seeing like this feel good love angle with Mandy and Otis, but kicking off SmackDown with drunk driving.
Or getting a DUI, yes.
Like, I feel like half of SmackDown's booked by Triple H, the other half is booked by Vin and Mac on cocaine.
I don't even think that. I think it's like half of it is booked by the people who write soap operas, or did write soap operas for Fox. I don't know that Fox has any anymore. And half of it is booked by their action department, or they're like I don't know, some like M. Night Shyamalan shit, like Jeff Hardy's DUI. But it's all just a dream. In reality, it's AJ Styles crashed the car and intoxicated Jeff Hardy.
Dun-dun-dun! On the streets of SmackDown Live, police encounter.
So Fox, I don't know if this is Fox, I don't know what's going on, but this is like, what is SmackDown right now? But it's good. So
it's entertaining, huh? That's what it is, and you know what? If you can keep me locked in on the screen for fear of missing something batshit for the full 2 hours, then you did your job, SmackDown.
Yep. And then speaking of batshit, Kurt Angle's promoting a match on Raw.
Yeah, so fully embracing the idea that Kurt Angle is clearly still with WWE, Kurt Angle announces that apparently me and Nick were just both wrong with everything that regarding NXT and the angle we thought that Riddle and Thatcher was going to go to, because apparently that Fight Pit match on Wednesday night was the blow-off match for their feud.
Yep. Well, I had talked to you Wednesday night about how many people have been requesting to work on Friday Night SmackDown now that AJ Styles is over there. Number one on that list, apparently, the original bro, Matt Riddle.
Yes, so Angle announces that Matt Riddle will be coming to SmackDown Live. First thoughts, major props to Matt Riddle. Big ups, young man. Nice to see you getting your call to SmackDown, getting this opportunity. This clearly shows that they have faith in you and confidence in you to come up to the big leagues, as Vince McMahon would see it as. So seriously, huge congratulations to you. Yeah. I'm sure the boost to SmackDown probably comes with a pay raise too. So I'm excited for him in that regard. On the other aspect, oh shit, don't mess this up. Oh shit, oh god.
First of all, yeah, congratulations to Matt Riddle. It was just 3 years ago you were fighting in the Knights of Monaghan Hall in Livonia, where tickets from the front row were $35. So congratulations to you on you're in the big leagues now. You're doing the big boy stuff. I mean, it would cost me $800 to get the same seats for a show at SmackDown. So Congratulations to you. You're going to be making more money. You're going to be doing bigger and better things. And if the reports are correct that you wanted to move up to work with AJ Styles, I hope to God you get that opportunity, because that is going to be a great feud. I don't think they can mess this up in the short term because it's at the PC and they can't mess up the PC environment. But by God, when they go back on the road, don't mess this up. Please, Lord, don't mess this up.
The one thing that alleviates my fears of them messing up Matt Riddle is that his entire gimmick is the right level of goofy, that I feel like it would just flow right along with what they do on main roster anyway.
I mean, Vince has just pushed a guy who's a pothead before, right? I mean, RVD was a mainstay before, so he knows what he's doing.
Just as long as we don't start getting callbacks to, his UFC career and the problems with his marijuana use, and we start going full Jeff Hardy, then I guess that will be when I have an issue. Or if they go full, how much fish could Bobby Fish fry? Because that was a big barrel of cringe. So that you got to find the healthy balance.
He's gonna start coming out. BRO.
Oh God. just
one of a kind.
Don't mess this up, please. That's all I can ask you, WWE. Don't mess this up. So we get to the main event: Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus, and winner will go on to the finals to face AJ Styles for the vacant Intercontinental Championship. What else can I say? It's Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus. Good match. Both men are very talented in the ring. They're professionals. They know what they're doing. It's a standard Daniel Bryan Sheamus match. They don't go too out of the box with it. They don't try to, add any extreme flair or anything. But it was definitely, it's a good match. A good way to wrap up the show.
What? You said flair. I agree with you. It was a great wrap up to the show. And like you said, both of these guys are bona fide professionals. I can't even with myself right now. They know how to put on a show, and of course, this is a match that we care about. This is something that's important because it's part of that Intercontinental Championship tournament. And congratulations to D-Bry. We get the match that you and I were hoping for. D-Bry versus AJ Styles for the IC title. Hopefully they give that the amount of time that it deserves, and it should be a great match.
And the reason Daniel Bryan is advancing is because Jeff Hardy returned to Smackdown Live. He was released by the police department. They couldn't find any evidence charging him with the crime. So that was a statement released by WWE later on social media. So Jeff Hardy returned to SmackDown Live, and he's got a problem with Sheamus. This obviously causes the distraction as he walks out to the ring. Sheamus clearly not expecting to see him there. And then he gets caught with the flying, running, whatever. They really need to come up with a name for this.
The knee. It's the knee.
It's the knee.
The knee!
Yes, so he gets caught with the running knee from Daniel Bryan for the 1, 2, 3. After the match, immediately Jeff Hardy jumps all over Sheamus. He is incensed. Clearly, something regarding what happened earlier is involving Sheamus. So we're going to find out what's going on probably next week on SmackDown.
Yeah, and I say tongue-in-cheek, I think it's AJ Styles, but the obvious pick here is Sheamus, that Sheamus did it. Did somebody put Sheamus up to it? Maybe we find that out. That maybe AJ says, hey, I'd go ahead, take them both out. I'll go on to the finals, and all you have to do is beat D-Bry. I don't know. We'll find out. But honestly, I'm excited to see where this angle goes, and that's sad because it's an angle on SmackDown, which normally I'd be like. But I think that this angle is going to be really good, and I'm actually... Oh, God, this feels gross. I'm actually excited.
Wait till you yawn to talk.
I'm actually excited, despite my yawning, for next week's SmackDown. Yes, it does.
That's good. So, what is your match of the night for SmackDown?
This is tough, because there were actually a lot of good matches on this card. I am going to go this way simply out of a little bit of personal bias. I'm going to go with Sonya Deville and Lacey Evans.
And I 100% agree. My pick is also going to be Sonya and Lacey. I loved the style of wrestling match that they had. I've been if you can't tell, I'm a big fan of this amateur, more realistic style of wrestling. That's what got me back into pro wrestling when it seemed like I had just completely lost any interest in the brand. NXT comes out of nowhere and we start seeing amazing technical based wrestling with guys like Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura, Samoa Joe, people like that. So seeing this style of wrestling now on episodes of SmackDown and Raw gives me hope that couple years later down the line than I expected, but finally on the main roster, we're getting the new generation of professional wrestling introduced to you guys. So I appreciate that, and I look forward to seeing that down the line. What is your MVP for SmackDown?
This is a tough one, actually. I've thought about it, and it could go a lot of ways. I mean, there were a lot of really good segments, a lot of good matches tonight. But you know, I'm always for the segment that makes the most impact in a show. Impact, get it? I'm gonna go with Jeff Hardy here, which he should probably not want to think about impact at all, especially after that car accident or any of the other things. But yes, so I'm gonna go with Jeff Hardy on this one.
Understandable. I am actually going to give my MVP to Lacey Evans. Again, I thought she looked fantastic in the ring tonight. I do want to give an honorable mention to one Mandy Rose, because that promo work, my God. But yeah, Lacey Evans, I think, is going to be my MVP for the in-ring work she cut.
I have 2 Fight Mode Fighters of the Night tonight, one to Lacey Evans and one to Miss Sonya Deville for their awesome amateur-style fight. Well, that'll wrap up this SmackDown review video from your Wrevolution Pod, boys. We do have those couple of cute little disclaimers to give you at the end of our video that we give you every single time.
Listen to them! They're important, I promise.
The Wrevolution Pro Wrestling Podcast is currently only available on the YouTube, sad face, single manly tier, as that which shall not be named, which is currently raging across the world, is keeping us inside and not with one another, especially because I came under the weather about a week ago, and I want to make sure that Marcus and his family are safe. Until we return to live from Studio 6 coverage together, we will not be available on any of our audio podcast platforms, but in case you want to follow us on any of those, they are iTunes, they are Spotify, they are the Google Play, and of course, they are the Podbean, the most beautiful of beautiful things. And of course...
You want to talk about... Hold on. I'm sorry to cut you off, but let's talk about Podbean here for a second, because...
Let's talk about Podbean.
If SmackDown taught us anything, it's that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And while Podbean, it may not have the biggest brand, it may not have the name of the iTunes or the Spotify, but when I go to sleep at night and I dream about the perfect podcast site,
it's Podbean.
It's Podbean.
Trust me. You know why? Because Podbean allows us to do what we can't do anywhere else. Produce massive amounts of content and upload it for a fair price.
Exactly.
And of course, we are always available wherever you find your fine pro wrestling podcasts once we are back on the audio platforms. Until then, continue tuning in to only the YouTubes. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Share this video. And of course, if you have subscribed, you better hit the freaking notification bell. Because you know why? Do you know why you need to do that? So you're not a stupid idiot that doesn't get our videos. You know what happens to people who are stupid idiots that don't watch our videos? Do you? Do you? You just made the list.
But yes, make sure you guys follow us on all our social media. Links are down in the description below. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And as always, live from Studio 6, I am your Wrevolution Pod World Champion. My name is Marcus White.
I guess that makes me Fight Mode Nick Cavalli, and I am not a crook.
And
from their bedroom.
This was your Friday Night SmackDown review. And as always, join the Wrevolution.